You tried
even this one.
the Sam Smith?
It's like,
Tastes like honey water.
yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So having like legit cider, like these pale in comparison.
Tastes like honey water. Welcome to episode 18 of the Sultan of Slow Drip. I'm your host, the Sultan of Slow Drip, joined as always, back in the saddle, Victor Chan.
Hello
here.
guys, what's up?
Just episode after episode.
Yeah.
Me and Vic.
Happy to be here.
Old
as
school
always.
style. So yeah, we actually threw this episode together pretty quickly. We were hoping to do a different episode, but some plans fell through. So hopefully we'll be bringing that episode
They'll
to
be
you
on
guys.
eventually.
Yeah. But in the meantime, we're gonna do something I've wanted to do for a while. We're gonna do an episode on cider. Now, this is something ultimately I think I want to revisit.
Okay.
Because this was very much flying by the seat of our pants, just making it kind of happen.
Yeah.
In the moment.
All within like 30 minutes, we went to like 2 different places and
Yeah.
like tried to scavenge what we could find. I think we found some pretty good ones too.
Yeah, there's just some other ciders that I really wanted
Sure.
to represent, and I couldn't find them, especially Eris. I wanted to have Eris on the table,
Yeah.
local cidery who also works with us, but they're here in Chicago, and we wanted to show off some of their cider, but just kind of how we were constrained with the episode.
Great food there too.
Yeah.
Great food. I think it's vegan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. A lot of their food is vegan.
What?
Yeah.
Awesome. But in any case, though, yeah, we wanted to feature that. So we'll have to run this episode back and come a little bit more prepared. But I'm still really excited and eager to talk about what we do have on the table here. And one thing that I did notice is we actually have like several different formats here, because we have a can. We have a bottle that's enclosed with a regular kind of snap down top.
Okay.
We have a traditional cork.
I see this rubber. So that's just a cap to the cork?
Yeah, I think
Oh,
that's
okay.
a wax kind of seal on
okay.
but that's like
Yeah.
a traditional kind of wine cork.
Okay.
And then we have more of like a carbonated
this looks
champagne
fun.
style cork. So yeah, this could be kind of an interesting way to compare carbonation levels.
Okay.
Because, I noticed that, for example, these typically tend to be pretty well carbonated, and then also the can ones tend to be pretty well
I
carbonated.
just did not know there were this many differences within the world of cider.
Yeah, I mean, I'm by no means a cider expert, but cider is just as deep as any of the other beverages, beer, because there's so many varietals of apple. And one of the big kind of defining, from my understanding of cider, really your divides become from the types of apple used. So you can use kind of like your standard juice apples that you would see in the grocery store.
Okay.
Or you can use like kind of smaller apples, which are more traditionally used for cider.
Oh, okay.
They tend to be a lot less sweet, a lot more dry, a lot more expressive. And then within that divide, you also get whether your yeast is going to be from a culture that was kind of specifically bred and then used for cider, or whether it's going to just be the native yeast that was actually on the apple itself used.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, basically you would take either pressed apple juice from a grocery store type apple, that's usually a pasteurized juice, and then you would inoculate that and ferment it, or you would just macerate
Your own.
essentially crab
Oh,
apples.
wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, crab apples directly from the tree, and allow that native yeast that's just present on the apple to do the fermentation. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
much, and a little bit of the ambient yeast
Sure.
in the air as well. You kind of let that just settle.
That's
on
cool.
there, and that obviously produces a much more kind of wilder, funkier.
Is
style
it
cider.
crab apples because they're more concentrated, or?
It's just like what they're called. I mean, they're probably called something else like heirloom or,
Oh,
but they're just like kind of smaller apples. And if you say
Yeah.
crab apple, people kind of know what you mean when you say that. You mean like those
Okay.
kind of small, hard apples.
Yeah.
That are
I
like,
feel like I had a tree in my backyard.
yeah, you try to eat one and you're like, oh.
No,
right?
yeah. I thought it was like, it's for the squirrels maybe.
Yeah, right, exactly. They're like for throwing.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Throwing
I
apples.
was a bad kid. I was throwing little crab apples to my neighbors.
Watch them explode on the wall and stuff like that. Yeah. But those are typically the types of apples that you would use for making
cool.
your more traditional ciders. So let's go ahead and start off with this first one here. We're going to be moving, as always, in this direction here.
Cool.
So this is from Ace Premium Craft Ciders, and it's called Joker. So.
Would you say that this is the most popular or most common one that people might pick up?
So, yeah, I think this is going to be one of your kind of more...
As far as on the table.
Yeah, it's going to be in the line of like the Angry Orchard type,
Gotcha.
like more kind of mass-produced
Yeah.
ciders. This is just my kind of assumption about it because I've never had this. I've actually never really tasted any of these ciders. I've had beers from Samuel Smith's, which were really nice, but never had their cider before. But I'm guessing this is likely going to be the sweetest on the table.
Okay.
I'm guessing this is probably made with, some apple juice from like a more kind of eating apple, not necessarily a crab apple. Okay. But because let's see. I don't see any information about apple varietals or anything like that, or types of apple used. It just says no sugar added. It's not as if you would need to necessarily add sugar if you're already using a kind of relatively sweet apple to begin with. So that, itself.
But they only claim only 3 grams of sugar.
Only 3 grams of sugar and carbs per serving. So hey, maybe it's also a dry cider. So a dry cider is going to be less sweet. So maybe they did use kind of less sweet apples. Again, it's hard to know whether they use the smaller apple varietals or the kind of more eating apples. So but let's get in here and check it out.
Oh, that's clean.
Yeah. Nice straw color. Looks like a Helles lager almost. Cool. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
It actually has a kind of Prosecco nose. It smells a lot like Prosecco. It smells really clean.
Yeah.
Not like on the nose, it's not overtly sweet. Like I don't smell like this crazy sugar intensity or anything like that. Let's give it a taste.
It's not as bubbly as a Prosecco, but it's like a Riesling.
Yeah. Well, Rieslings too also can be kind of on the sweet side as well. Like there's a kind of a stylistic difference in Riesling, like
more bubbly Riesling.
Like a dry. Like I've actually had some Rieslings that were effervescent.
Oh, okay.
Too, yeah. It kind of reminds me of that, yeah.
That's nice. If it was a little colder, I think it'd be better.
Yeah, I mean, it tastes like apple juice. That's just like fermented.
Yeah.
You can taste it. Like
and that's how some of these beers are these days too. They're more shaky or like milkshakey or juicy than beer. And so those are the beers, and probably this cider too. If anyone was a non-cider, non-beer person, you would use to introduce them.
There's something there that tastes a little pink to me, almost like.
What do you mean by pink?
Like kind of how like rosé tastes, or how like maybe a certain flower like lilacs or something like that. Like
wow.
Like this kind of floral pink essence kind of. This is the best way I can describe it. All things considered, though, I'm not getting any funk.
Oh. Would you? I mean, maybe funk in some of the other ones?
Yeah, I think, funk is something I personally look for in cider.
Okay.
Because it is a fermented product. Using yeast, you do typically get some funk in it. So my suspicion would be that this is using a juice, like an apple juice, from maybe a blend of like Granny Smith or, maybe even Honeycrisp, just like typical grocery store apples, juiced, pasteurized, and then adding a yeast to that, like a very specific, because this is all very clean. There's no funk, there's no wildness.
Yeah, that would remind me with the funk of like saisons, farmhouse ales.
Yeah, no, it's got none of that.
I wonder if this is going to be closer to that, because some saisons come corked like this too.
Right, yeah. And there's like a secondary fermentation that they do in bottle as well.
Okay, so over time it
ferments,
cool.
Even more. So, which makes it somewhat age-worthy as well. So,
are you rating these?
I'm not gonna rate these.
Okay.
No. I think I'll just kind of rate coffee. Yeah. Really, what this is about more so is just kind of approaching stylistically. Like, okay, you see a cider on the grocery store shelf, and you're like, oh, I wonder, is this gonna be appropriate for this get together? Or, oh, I was always curious about ciders, like. Looking at them, what kind of can you expect from them? Also, in terms of like price point, this can was $3, whereas this one was $5. This one was
in like the 11s or 12s, maybe almost 20s. Some of them.
This was $11, and this was $18. So, what can you kind of expect based on the format and the price of these different ciders? So, I'm ready to move on to the next one.
Sure,
I actually need to grab my bottle opener.
Okay.
All right. So next is going to be Samuel Smith's. There we go.
Nice.
Yep. So this is organic cider made from organically grown apples, they say here. Samuel Smith is from England.
Yeah.
And I actually was telling you I went to their brewery. So they have like a chain of breweries. And it's really funny because they're considered to be almost like Applebee's or something in terms of their
Very commercial.
like commercial kind of chain status.
Like a generalist almost.
Yeah, exactly. You can get bar food and stuff like that. But the beer is like really, really good.
Nice.
Like it was really
I'll have to,
good.
if I ever go, I'll seek it
Yeah,
out.
just check it out. It's like super easy. They're everywhere. So
Apples from London too? Like from UK?
I don't know.
Oh, that would be a whole process.
Yeah,
Of, like
let's see.
importing apples?
Yeah, I mean, or you could just import the juice, too.
Okay.
Let's see. So it says a medium dry cider. It doesn't say anything about origin or even the apple type. So I'm going to, one thing I can say is at least the apples on the actual label look like eating apples. So based just on that, I'm going to assume they probably used the same sort of apples that the Joker might have used. So we'll try a different cup for this one.
They look very similar. Oh, this one looks a little bubblier.
A little bubblier, a little darker too, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like when the doctor tells you to go fill up the cup and bring it back.
Yeah, right? But this looks like very clean urine, though.
Yep. It's got a little bit more salinity, a little bit more kind of smells like rocks.
Interesting.
Yeah. On the
I've never
nose.
tasted cider like this.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's got more like what would be the best way to describe it? It's like rocks on brackish water.
I don't know what brackish water
Brackish is like a mix of saline and fresh water.
Okay.
So if you imagine like pebbles on a stream, that's brackish. It's kind of got that wet stone,
Okay.
but also saline kind of smell going on. That's what I'm getting off of it.
I like that.
It's sweeter.
This is sweeter?
Yeah.
No way. Okay, well, the first one's tartar.
Yeah, the first one's more tart. Yeah. It actually, now that I taste this a little bit more, it tastes like outright like there's more malic acid in it, which is used to kind of balance the acid profile, but it's also somewhat of a preservative. Malic acid is what gives apples their acidity. Like citric acid is what gives citrus its acidity.
Okay.
Apples have citric acid too, but the main one that you get, that
Is
apple.
malic?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's less sharp than citric, but it's still kind of sharp.
And you're talking about malic. Are you describing the first or second one with the malic acid?
The first one.
Okay, because the second one was more dull to me.
It's a little more kind of round.
Yeah.
A little more like regular juice tasting.
Yeah. Yeah. Got a fan.
Yeah, we got.
I can't wait.
an
You think one day we can do a live audience?
Yeah, I think we can actually. I can't. Yeah, we'll have to just figure out what it's gonna be.
Yeah. I've always wanted to do one at Side Practice for my own podcast, but
Yeah.
I mean, doing like a live tasting, I think people would be keen on that.
I think that would be dope. We just have to make sure like it was something that would be easy for a bunch of people to have all together.
Are you talking about for everyone to taste?
Everyone to taste, just
Okay.
kind of enjoy and not be too much of a logistical problem.
No.
Also too like maybe we'll do a mass Kool-Aid tasting. I'm joking.
Oh, man. I would love to one day.
Yeah, this is very aromatic though. It does smell kind of like, okay, if you were to go to an apple orchard and buy some of their local pressed apple juice, like their orchard, Honeycrisp pressed apple juice, it tastes like that. Is like a higher level of juice used, but it still tastes like juice was used and not necessarily like, or that doesn't make sense because it's all juice. But what I'm saying more so is like a grocery store kind of apple was used.
There's a heavier mouthfeel
And yeah, heavier mouthfeel.
to it.
I like it better.
They're different. I
They're
mean,
different.
I don't know. I would have both. I would have both.
Well, there are a couple things that I can say.
Like, I would sip on the second one, and I can like put down the first one.
I feel like the first one, now that I'm really tasting them side by side, the malic acid is like overtly really strong on the first one, to the point where I feel like that is not necessarily the apple's malic acid, but additional
The added.
acid
Interesting.
that is really coming through for me.
Whereas
if
this is just pure.
Yeah, more so. Like if you've ever had like Henriot champagne, for example, like it has this very strong apple malic kind of thing going on, where it's like a very, very aggressive champagne, and this kind of like is even more aggressive than Henriot.
Okay.
With the acid, and
It's more subtle.
yeah, and also too, I kind of don't like the way the cup smells.
This first one?
Yeah, the first one. Yeah, it's kind of got this kind of
There's no funk though, right? You said no funk.
no funk, but it almost smells like dried tree sap. Like if you've ever parked under a tree and got sap all over your car.
I can't recall what that would. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of got that sappy kind of smell, but
Okay.
that's just. Whereas this one doesn't have any.
It doesn't.
Yeah, it's much cleaner actually, even though it's kind of heavier feeling
In the mouth, but the smell is cleaner.
The smell is way cleaner.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would throw me off, because for me smells are very important. If I'm going back to my cup and I'm getting this kind of flabby, sappy kind of smell, I'm not really too crazy or keen on having that experience. This actually does smell like if you have brandy wine or something, and like
The
that
second
brandy,
one?
that brandy, the first one.
First one.
It has that brandy wine kind of smell, like
Okay.
in the glass itself, like
Okay.
kind of funky, and it's not a funk that is yeast driven. It's just like almost, I don't know what the hell it is, but
Yeah, I would have both again. Maybe in different settings.
yeah, I'm leaning a little bit towards the second one myself. Still, I'm not like super duper thrilled with it, but it's good. It's definitely good. I just look for more funk out of cider. Like that's my thing. Like I'm a funk chaser.
I'm expecting funk from the last two.
I am too. I'm hoping we get some funk. So, all right, let me.
How do you pronounce that? Yukosa? I don't know. I was reading up this.
Oh, okay.
Yuskal.
Yuskal, yeah.
Sargadoa.
So, next one. If we can focus, there we go. Isategi.
Where is it from?
It is a product of Spain. So this is so this is the Basque cider right here.
Basque. Okay.
Yeah. So this is from the Basque region of Spain. Typically, you get very, very funky ciders from that particular region. Almost exclusively the smaller apples, the native yeast driven fermentation. The Basque region actually straddles both Spain and France on the border.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, it's mostly in Spain. It's like most of the
Basque.
Basque people are like 90% of them live in Spain and like 10% are in France. So,
Okay.
but this one has a traditional cork, so I'm expecting maybe little effervescence, just minor effervescence. Let's get in here and try to open this boy up. Or you know what? Actually, is that a rubber cork?
At least the top is. I don't know if the whole
Yeah,
thing
maybe the
is.
whole. Yeah. I was thinking that it was a wax seal on that, but actually maybe it's just a rubber cork the whole way. Let me get a little deeper in there. Yeah.
Wow. I don't think I've ever had a rubber cork.
Yeah, let's take a better look at this cork once we get it completely out.
Oh, wow.
That's so
That's
bizarre. Look at this.
Kind of like put your hand behind it.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, I gotta kind of frame it a little bit.
There it
we go,
is.
yeah. Look at that. I've never seen a cork like that before.
Oh, that's cool.
That's weird. It's all rubber. I bet it's probably easy to put back in. Yeah, it's interesting. All right, let's give this a little tasty taste. Also, it's got a lot of flocculation, So basically particulate kind of floating in there.
Yeah, it's just
If you
kind of
see
like
that.
floating.
Yeah, it's just chilling there, just floating, like right in place.
Almost look like it's like a gel.
Yeah, it does look almost like a gel.
Ooh, a little darker.
Yeah, a little darker.
Thank you.
I definitely didn't see any bubbles when I poured it. It looked pretty flat.
Surprisingly, right?
Yeah. That's smelling kind of interesting.
A little more funk.
A little more funk, huh?
Yeah, on the nose.
Oh, yeah. Quite a bit more funk. So, and then specifically, it's like kind of mossy.
Ooh, okay.
Like, yeah, mossy. Maybe a little bit like walking through the woods. You know, you just get a little bit of apple come through. You get all this funk, and then just a touch of apple just like hits you at the end.
You like that, don't you?
I do. Yeah, that's my kind of jam. See, I'm already in my head. I'm already getting some blue cheese on toast.
Ew, get out of here.
Jam.
No, thank you.
Ready for the... Maybe a little natto on the side.
Oh!
Speaking of jam, it actually kind of has a little bit of a jammy nose on it.
Okay. I've never had any cider like this. This is very dry and tart. Not saying that's bad.
Very little effervescence.
Yeah, when you swallow, at least.
Little bit tart down the center of the tongue.
Yeah.
This makes me instantly want to have a pork tenderloin, like, and some Brussels sprouts, and maybe some like caramelized like mushrooms and onions. Like that's kind of what this really makes me want to have right now. Like this, I think, is absolutely a food cider. This cider just makes me want to have a really nice meal, especially something like pork. You know.
Well, I wonder if any restaurants carry this.
Yeah.
Isastegi.
I could even see, honestly, doing this with like barbecue pork noodles, like dry barbecue pork noodles, like having this on the side instead of like beer or tea or something.
And so, the acidity would cut through it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. It has a nice focused sensor acidity. I'm still smelling it now, even. It's almost got like a little bit of meat on the nose too, kind of like the coffees we had last episode.
But that was like gross meat.
That was like gross, like you just opened a pack of bologna. This
but
one,
like a 2-week-old pack of bologna.
yeah. This is more so like, oh, I just pulled this like nice pork roast out of the oven, and it kind of smells like the pork roast.
Oh. Really?
Yeah. Like, so imagine you made a like, let's say a tenderloin, right?
Yeah.
And you did your little glaze, like maybe you did like a honey glaze or a maples glaze, and then you pull that boy out of the oven and you just, right?
No,
what I
I'm
get.
just getting funk from this.
What kind of funk?
Not meaty funk.
Like mossy, like
Peaty, like
peaty, like mushroomy. Like shiitakes or maitakes more so. Shiitakes are a little stronger, like maitakes maybe.
But yeah, good for you. Pork tenderloins don't come to mind.
Now I gotta have you over for pork tenderloin, right? Pull out the cider. Yeah, no, I'm digging this quite a bit. There's also something to it that's a little bit like, reminds me of like rapini.
What is that?
It's like a type of broccoli leaf.
Rapini.
Yeah.
Bitter?
Yeah, like bitter greens. It's almost like Swiss chard.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
like kind of bitter like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is probably this absolutely is begging for food. It's to me like this is a food cider.
Nice.
Yeah,
I know what you mean though.
Yeah, like it says pair me.
Yeah.
You know, and the fact that it's not super effervescent means that you could open this and reclose it and just kind of reserve it and probably not lose much from it because it doesn't rely on the effervescence.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
And you only feel it when you swallow when you swallow. Like there's that sharpness at the end.
It's like that frizzante, just like that little bit of sparkling as you swallow.
Oh, it's nice. Good find.
I actually pounded that.
Where'd you find this? You Independence?
We went to Independent Spirits. Shout out
Yeah.
Independent Spirits. Scott over there pointed us to his wonderful selection of ciders that I was very torn to choose from. They all looked really great, so we'll definitely have to go back there to put some more on the table for the next episode that we do on cider. Cool. All right, last one. Ciderie du Vulcan. So Vulcan Cider. This
Vulcan
is
cider.
Yeah, this is from Switzerland.
Cool.
Yeah, so
And then imported it by a company in Melrose Park.
nice. Yeah. And then this one actually specifically talks about it. So it says this blend is the pure expression of the Fir apple, an ancient cider variety, originating in Germany at the end of the 19th century. This apple, originally called Bonfapple, is known for its colored tannic juice. This artisanal cider may present slight sediment. So I'm definitely thinking that this is going to be in the same vein as the previous one, where now we're talking about strictly heirloom varietal of a small apple with the native fermentation, because they're putting that known up front that this is this specific apple varietal driven.
Okay.
So that to me is a signifier of all those other things that come along with that.
Cool.
So we're going to open this and give it a little twisty twist. So I'm curious to see if this is like champagne, because typically it's 6 twists to get this off. Let's see.
I did not know that.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, just like champagne.
Are there others that are more than 6 or less than 6?
I haven't encountered anything that's more than 6.
Who told you that? Or is that something you just picked up on? Oh.
Yeah,
I'm like, let me just twist this off. I didn't know it was like a specific number.
Yep. So 6 twists. And then for these, you typically just keep the cage on
What?
when you take this off.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to blind anybody.
Okay.
Okay, so you keep the cage on. You put your film on top of this boy here. Right? Some people use a towel, whatever, right? But you
Sure.
don't have to. Point it away from the other person.
What?
Hold this all firmly and twist the bottle. Okay?
Okay.
And then now you want to angle out the cork as you twist the bottle. And it should not pop. If you go boop, you did it all wrong. You're wasting carbonation. You're making a lot of unnecessary noise. Instead, it should be like, it's how it should sound.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's so cool. So those that pop off, doing it wrong.
You're doing it wrong. You're just trying to stunt.
Oh.
Just trying to flex.
Okay.
For the gram.
Wow. You learn something every day. I haven't eaten anything all day, so I'm getting lit right now.
Yeah, right. That is also some real fermentation, some carbonation there. Look at that. Yeah, you ain't the only one. I'm getting pretty lit myself.
Okay.
Find your center.
Yeah.
Cheers. Wow.
Oh, more cider.
Yeah, Funk. I think Funk is turned up on this one too, but also the kind of rosiness of the apple is really turned up on it.
Okay.
Like,
So good pickings.
yeah, like just very nice floral apples.
Yeah.
And you know, some of that floral is going to be produced from the yeast as well, but like the funk is definitely like yeast driven and it's very present. Something that smells a little bit like going into a bathroom, like a men's bathroom, just a little bit, which
You get that with like funk in general, right?
Exactly, yeah. Which to me is kind of a good sign.
You guys got to flush.
You do.
That's when you don't flush.
Yeah.
You just get that stagnant urine smell.
That's when you aim at the cake instead of at the, you know what I'm saying, the back of the toilet, so that it hits the cake and just splatters everywhere. You know who you are. That it has that kind of like you just walk into a bathroom where every guy's just like, I'm gonna melt that pink thing.
Oh, I haven't seen one of those in a while actually. That was
Yeah.
like cake. Okay, I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
the urinal cake.
The scent. The
Yeah,
scent one.
Yeah, yeah. You're not supposed to aim at it.
Well, if you didn't know that, I mean, when you do when you do aim at it, it just goes everywhere.
It
so
goes everywhere.
on yourself, you know. So.
So yeah.
Wow, I learned another thing.
It's like walking into a bathroom where that's just all they do.
I know what. I get that.
Yep.
Oh, Something tells me I'm gonna enjoy drinking it though.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's gonna just mess up your hope. You're gonna walk into the bathroom like
Cider. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's got the full package.
Yeah.
It's really got the acidity, the sweetness, the funk.
In the front end, and then it dries off in the back end.
This tastes like blue cheese.
No, what? I see where you're coming from. I still don't associate it with blue cheese.
It tastes like blue cheese. It's got like that sharpness, the sweetness, the creaminess. It tastes like blue cheese. This is
Everything from the taste to the mouthfeel, it's there. It's full.
It is. I think this could stand up to charcuterie. I think I would put this out for a charcuterie board.
Nice. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's
a
good idea.
Absolutely. I would pair this with a charcuterie board.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be really nice. And also, too, it would be a nice bridge. Because, some people like to put, like, grapes and stuff like that on their charcuterie board. And, like, from my personal taste, grapes to meat and cheese is a really, really sharp divide.
Okay.
It's a big jump. Personally, on charcuterie boards, I don't touch the grapes. I don't touch the apples. Because if I'm unless I have them first, or unless I walk away and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to have like a little bit of that.
It leaves a lingering aftertaste?
Well, it's just that they don't play well with the other parts of the
Gotcha.
board. I think when you put apples or grapes or any sort of like kind of tart fruit on a charcuterie board, you have to be mindful of how that's going to play with the cheese and the meat. And typically it's not going to play very well. Like grapes just don't go well with salami.
Well, when you say it like that.
They just don't, but people put them there because they look nice and it's like refreshing, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
But it's not really a pairing. It's more of a palate cleanser or just like something to leave the charcuterie board. Like I'm only going to have a grape if I'm just like, oh, I want a grape and I'm just like, I'm not really eating the charcuterie right now. Or if I'm totally done with the charcuterie and I just want to have a grape to clean my palate.
Okay.
That's it. I'm not playing with it in the mix.
There is so much that goes into making one, huh? Making a board.
Yeah, it can,
Wow.
But this cider might actually start getting me thinking like, oh, I think I can start to actually introduce those grapes into this. I can start introducing those different fruits into this because this is a nice bridge. It's got some funk in it, just like these meats do. It's got a little bit of sweetness, just like both elements, because meat has sweetness, cheese has sweetness, and then the fruit has sweetness. And I think it is an excellent bridge. So
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I would absolutely put this on a charcuterie board. Yeah.
You found this at Independence as well.
Independent Spirits. Yeah.
Nice.
These two finer ciders I found at Independent Spirits. Another thing too. This one. I don't even know if I should say this. But there's something telling me like that would go well with like chicken in some sort of fashion, like. Like maybe because I was thinking like going really stupid and saying like that actually might be good with a chicken sandwich,
like a spicy chicken sandwich,
like a spicy chicken sandwich with like pickles and stuff.
Yeah,
I kind of can see it.
You wouldn't think of that, but yeah.
What are you thinking of it? I'm really really digging it.
I am too. Yeah, don't be put off by the smell, by the funkiness of the smell.
Yeah.
By the bathroom smell, but at that being said, it's not too sweet. Full-bodied mouthfeel, and then it's dry after you swallow.
Yep, it's dry. It's not
doesn't
like
linger.
It's got a good sweetness, but that sweetness just kind of checks itself as you swallow,
and then says goodbye.
It's all right.
Yeah,
I did my part. I'll catch you later. Next sip. It's almost like when you smell it, it's almost like you're walking into a bathroom and, guys are just peeing all on the cake and the cake is made out of portobello mushrooms.
Yo, that's gross. What the fuck? Ew.
I just had to take you there. But yeah, with all that said, it's really, really solid. And there's like, apples in the air, there's an apple tree. I'm just drawing a picture.
Yep.
I'm painting an image. Nah, I love this. That's really incredible. I need to eat some food so I can drink some more of that. That's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, coming from primarily like a beer drinker.
Yeah.
If I saw this on the menu, I think I would go for that too.
Okay.
I kind of like usually skip over the cider. Because it's just juice. Usually it's just juice, you know.
Yeah.
But this is like a little more complex.
Gotcha. Yeah. And you know, now with that said too, let's do something. I don't want to get you too lit, but let's go back and taste.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah. Now that we've kind of gone, so I think this one is this one here.
I still got some.
If you want to, do you want to just dump all your cups?
No, I know what. Yeah, I put them in order.
I put mine in order too. So you get that smell now?
Mm-hmm. It's harder because it doesn't compare to the funkiness.
Yeah, it doesn't compare to the funkiness. It's kind of just.
And now this is like water.
It is a little bit like water. Like very sharp acidic water. It's like malt liquor almost.
Water. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Malt, yeah, like malt cider.
Yeah.
Kind of. That's what it tastes like.
Yeah. So if I saw, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't get that if I was at a restaurant.
Man, that's good. That's real good.
You went back to the last one?
Yeah. That last one is killer. That's so good. And they had another cider, the same company.
Yeah.
Even more
they
expensive.
did. Oh, was it? Yeah.
Yeah. It was a $25 one.
Yeah, okay.
I think we need to put that one on the table next time we do an episode.
Sure.
See what that's about.
Dila said that she's never had mead, and I was gonna bring a bottle for us to share. So maybe when that happens, we'll have some mead. Yeah.
And actually, we'll see if Adam has some more of his cider too.
Okay.
Because Adam actually has a cider.
His own.
Yeah, he has a barrel-aged cider. It's
No
incredible.
shit.
It's so good. You tried
even this one.
the Sam Smith?
It's like
It tastes like honey water.
yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So having like legit cider, like these pale in
Yeah.
comparison.
Tastes like honey water. All right, let's go back to that third one. And actually, what I'm doing too is I'm resetting my palate on the fourth. So
You're just the bar is like up here.
Yeah, that's incredible.
See, even the third one. That's insane.
The third one also falls a little bit flat on it, but I think
Because you downed this one the first time.
Yeah, well, here's the thing about it though. Comparing carbonated and non-carbonated things is kind of tricky.
Okay.
Because carbonation makes it dance on your tongue more, so it just like spreads more quickly. So I think you're gonna have to taste through it a little bit.
The fourth one is just so dense.
The fourth one's got everything.
Wow.
It's got everything.
Yeah, guys, it's hard to go back to the other. Even this one, it's hard to go back to the other three
Yeah.
after you've had the fourth one.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Now that fourth one is killer. Even the second one though is like it's got its place. It's just you can't really put it against the last one. I think also it is kind of it's a better cider too. Like there is that factor as well, but it's also carbonated, which gives it kind of a leg up because carbonation just is more pleasing. It's more refreshing. It's more like, oh, look at this.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
Woo.
That's really nice.
Question of the day. What's your favorite cider?
I hope we can find Eris for the next one. This is easily becoming the favorite cider.
Yeah.
I wonder how easy it is to find this because Independent is all the way up on the north side. So I wonder if any other specialty wine shops carry.
Yeah, I have no idea. Cider's a tricky one. It hasn't really achieved the kind of notoriety it deserves and the kind of penetration it deserves. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like if someone like Dila was selling cider, they'd be doing 10, 20, 30, 40 fold the business.
Get on that Vine Connections. Get on the cider.
Yeah, but they just
wagon.
They haven't really reached that mind share in America at least.
Yeah, it's
Awareness.
What's the beverage that the spirit that is pushing because whiskey's getting so expensive and bourbon's getting so
Mezcal.
expensive? Another one.
Armagnac?
Yeah, Armagnac.
Yeah.
Kind of like that, right? It's like
Yeah, Armagnac
we're
is
moving
so
from one to another.
good. I'm surprised people slept on Armagnac as long as they did.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's one of those things too where to an extent, like, because everybody's busy, you know, so they don't know what to look for. And it's like, oh, if Conor McGregor came out with a cider, then all of a sudden everybody would be drinking cider.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, how fast did hard seltzers
drink me
spread?
Irish cider.
Yeah.
You know, and then
Yeah.
everyone's drinking cider. Nice.
Exactly.
Oh, like, oh, I always love cider. Like, I've been drinking cider, you know.
Yeah.
So.
That's a whole nother conversation. Marketing and things like that.
Exactly. So yeah, hope I opened everyone's eyes to
guys.
how wonderful cider is. Please try ciders. Please go out there, spend the money on getting good ciders. It's well worth it. Like this and this.
That was
they're
good.
Both, you know.
I could like this is something that you would kind of sit back and enjoy. This is kind of like the equivalent of Purple Label.
Yes, a $18 bottle of wine.
Yeah.
Is probably not going to be as good as this cider.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah.
Period.
And this is refreshing.
It's incredible. Instead of getting some Prosecco, get a cider.
Yeah, you typically wouldn't think of that.
Yeah. You know, you're like, oh, yeah, no, I'm going to a party. You know, I want to get champagne, but, you know, I kind of like these guys kind of sort of. Maybe I don't want to spend champagne money.
Yeah.
Get a cider instead of
It's hard
Prosecco.
because you don't know, right? And you
yeah.
typically just go with what you know. And
Right.
It takes, I think, a good store owner or like a wine shop owner to point you in the right direction.
Yeah, and Scott really knows his stuff too. So if you happen to go buy independent spirits and also off premise, you know, those guys will definitely walk you through some things and hook you up. They always make solid recommendations. So that would be the takeaway.
Yeah.
from
The
this
other
episode,
takeaway: don't pop your bottles, guys.
Yeah, don't pop those bottles. Pop your collars. Peace.
All right.